What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Just real quick, if you haven't watched the most recent episode of The Bad Batch yet, we are going to talk about some spoilers, so just wanted to give you a fair warning because it's only been a day.
For our first question, Brandon Velasquez asks if we could see Fennec Shand and Cad Bane fight over Omega.
And I chose this specific question because I was able to use Fennec in the thumbnail and not Cad Bane.
That's smart.
Tomorrow, Cad Bane is in the thumbnail, but I figured one day wasn't enough time. But I don't know. I do kind of see this happening, but on the other hand, I'm like, is that too similar to the War of the Bounty Hunters, which is also happening right now? Like, one bounty hunter gets a target, and then everyone like chases after them to compete over it.
Yeah. Do we think that Fennec was hired by the same people as Cad Bane, or is it more like someone was hired by someone else kind of thing?
I'll pop up another question that another one of our patrons suggested that maybe it's two different factions. Maybe it's Crimson Dawn that hired Cad Bane, which, like, that would be it would be a twist. It would be an interesting way to pull him in. I think that the way the episode was structured, Cad Bane is probably working for the Kaminoans. And I think that makes sense. I think that will tie up a lot of loose threads if Cad Bane just takes her back to Kamino. But it absolutely could be that he's been hired by someone else.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for a moment where we get a moment kind of like in Mandalorian where everyone's got the tracking fobs and they're all going off because Omega's near. And like, how many bounty hunters are we going to see going after Omega?
That'd be interesting if they brought the fobs in, because everyone's like, how do those work in the Mandalorian? And maybe they'll find a way to explain that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I mean, the way that episode left off, Cad Bane has Omega, and it just depends on if Fennec Shand can find Cad Bane.
And I've seen a ton of people asking about, and I'm sure people want us to talk about the Boba Fett unfinished arc. Tomorrow's video is all about that. So I'll just say I absolutely think that it's possible we're going to see an adaptation of that arc in The Bad Batch. And I have a lot of reasons why. But Molly pointed out that it's like the shootout between Hunter and Cad Bane might be all we get.
It was very similar to what you see in that unfinished footage.
It's shot almost exactly the same.
Yeah, just like that Western standoff kind of thing. So it's a 50-50 shot, I think, if that was just a nod to that unfinished footage and that's all we're going to get, or if it was like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Like, this is coming.
Yeah. Cameron Story wants to know what we think of the news that Disney Plus shows are moving to Wednesdays instead of Fridays.
And we're going to be talking about this in our news roundup for next week. But just as a quick reaction, I, like a lot of other people, was kind of like, oh man, I like having Friday be like it feels like the start of the weekend. It's a really busy and hectic start to our weekend because it's like we spend over 12 hours talking about this stuff, and it's fun. I mean, you can't say that it's not, and it's exciting to look forward to every Friday. Now we'll just look forward to it on Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of split down the middle. I think for content creators specifically, this will be a helpful move just because it won't be so close to the weekend. We want to rush so much on a Friday to get, videos and stuff done. And we can spend like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday kind of like all talking about Bad Batch stuff. But on the other hand, it's exciting to wake up on Friday and like start your weekend off with new Star Wars content.
Yeah. I fully understand why people are like disappointed, and like I think I'm over it, where I'm like, okay, Wednesday it is, because like we've enjoyed watching Loki on Wednesdays, but I don't know, something about it feels like, we just got used to December being that's when a new Star Wars movie comes out, and that felt great. And then they were like, we're going to do Solo in May, and everyone was like, even though that's when Star Wars used to come out, people were like, I liked December. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is just, we all as people get comfortable with what's happening, and then when any change happens, we're like, no. But as the Bad Batch says, adapt and survive or die with the past. Get on board, everyone. It's Wednesdays now.
It does make sense from like a business standpoint, because now that cities are opening back up, movie theaters are also opening back up. So you're going to get your late Thursday night, all day Friday crowd going to the movies. And obviously Disney wants people to go to movie theaters and see films. So,
and they want people to be talking about, the movies all weekend. And I guess they'll get those hashtags trending on Wednesdays now, from Wednesday to Friday, and it's just everything shifts by a couple days.
Alex Ward asks what Charles Soule meant when he said Marquion Road doesn't look like that on accident.
I don't know. I mean, like, I read that and I just like stared at the tweet for a while. So yeah, we got in the High Republic Adventures issue 5, we got a face reveal. Like, we've had a description of Marquion Road before in Light of the Jedi, and I think Into the Dark. He's been described before. But now we've actually seen him, and Charles Soule is saying some cryptic thing. I don't know. I have some theories that I'm going to talk about in like weeks after people have had a chance to read like The Rising Storm. But they were theories that I haven't really considered until Charles Soule said this.
Well, okay, for those of you who haven't seen what he looks like, maybe you can put
put a picture up.
You can put an image up. He's blue or like blue grayish. He doesn't really look like a chiss.
He's been described as blue skinned, like a pale blue, a dark, but like he looks very, very dark blue skinned in the actual comic. So I don't know. They mostly describe him as looking like a predator.
He's got some
not like from the movie Predator,
yeah.
but just
yeah. He's got some like cool mutton chops going on too.
I think that's just his coat.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was on a cold planet.
Boo.
Maybe I'm looking at it
He does
wrong.
have facial hair though, right?
I can't remember.
I thought he did, or maybe
I don't think so.
I don't know. He was giving me like Wolverine vibes.
I'm pretty sure that's his coat.
All right.
He's wearing like a big furry cape in that issue. But...
I'm gonna look up a picture of him.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right, he's got some stubble, but yeah, I guess it was just like the bottom half of his helmet that made me think that he had more facial hair. I don't know.
He probably can't have much of a beard under all that. Like, anytime you're a mask-wearing character, it's got to be a mess with a beard on.
Sure.
Like, put that on, it just kind of gathers all around your face.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what species he is, and Charles Soule saying he doesn't look like that on accident makes me think that they're gonna reveal what species he is, or like what species he could be, like a descendant of.
Right.
Maybe like kind of like the last of his kind type deal.
Maybe. I don't know.
Do you know any like legends species that looked like that?
Not off the top of my head. No, because like, I don't know, something that jumped out into my head was like, is he a descendant of the Sith species? But they were red-skinned, but like, yeah, it could be, I don't know, like that, I would be reaching to say that.
Sure.
And well, I don't know, I have nowhere to go on this, but I was excited to get the face reveal, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
No answers, though.
As usual.
Leftist Hominid wants to know if it's possible to use the dark side for good reasons.
I would argue yes, but that you shouldn't.
Yes, everything from a certain point of view, right?
I mean, yeah, like, I think that the Sith or any Jedi that uses the dark side, not any Jedi, but I think they would probably say, well, I did it for a good reason. You know, the Sith are the heroes of their own story. The point is that once you do it for even a good reason, it's like, that's the slippery slope of it's a little easier to do it for a not so good reason or like a slightly worse reason and then a slightly worse reason. And then you're just like used to using it. You're like, yeah, that was easy. That's the temptation of the dark side is to like, yeah, you can use it to achieve a good goal. You can have good intentions, but it's going to corrupt you.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen Anakin use Force choke in the Clone Wars, right? And we've seen, I just thought of that episode where they're interrogating Cad Bane, and it's like him, Mace,
and Obi-Wan,
and Obi-Wan all kind of like trying to get into his head using the Force at the same time, and like in that moment, it's played to be like kind of dark.
It is shown, it does not look like a light side power. It looks like they are bending his will to theirs and ripping something out of his head for a good reason. Or like Force choking Pong Krell. Not Pong Krell, Poggle the Lesser.
I was like, did that happen?
Poggle the Lesser. Those poggers, is that how the kids say it?
I still don't know what that means.
Me neither. So when he force chokes Poggers the Lesser, he's able to save Ahsoka. So a good result. He would justify using the dark side in that moment. But like as we see, it gets easier and easier for Anakin to use the dark side and to justify using it.
Yeah. Would a mind trick be considered dark side light?
I think so. Like, I mean, you're taking away someone's agency.
Yeah, you're like you said, you're bending their will. And I feel like they touched on this in a High Republic story about mind tricks.
They did?
That like it's like, we really shouldn't do this, but we're gonna do it.
Like Elzar Mann kind of likes doing it, and he's good at it. And Avar Kriss is like, okay, you don't need to do that for everything.
Yeah.
So
that's just another example of like kind of sure. Inthert asks if droids weren't allowed to use escape pods in A New Hope.
Yeah, I think so. R2-D2's climbing into one, and C-3PO says, you can't go into there, it's restricted. And then I believe it's The Force Awakens, maybe The Last Jedi. One of the visual dictionaries for a sequel movie talks about how the Resistance has like updated their procedures to now like droids are just as welcome to the escape pods as our sentient organic members are.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. But yeah, I mean, are there any other instances where they would seem restricted other than just that one line in A New Hope?
I mean, I think that the evolution of just droids and how they are in Star Wars, it's fun to watch because in A New Hope, when 3PO introduces R2-D2, even Luke, our hero, just kind of sarcastically is like, hello. Like, why do I need to say hello to this droid? But then by the end of the movie, he's like, don't you dare replace that droid. We've been through a lot together. It's like this moment of growth for Luke. So sometimes you see people treat droids very much like tools. And sometimes, like in The Phantom Menace, R2-D2 saves the ship and everyone's like, yay! Like, it doesn't really match up with the way we've seen them treated in the past. And I think part of that is because, like, the audience knows and loves R2-D2 and we want to see him applauded. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that droids wouldn't be allowed to use the escape pods alone, like just for them for themselves.
That would be, I mean, I could see, you know what? It was probably restricted to 3PO. They've probably been in a scenario before, and he just went sprinting off down the hall, like pushing people out of his way, and he launched an escape pod by himself. And they were like, all right, that 3PO guy, like, he's allowed on an escape pod, but not alone.
Yeah.
That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films and for the Bad Batch. So we're doing audio commentaries for every episode as they come out. We're up through episode 7 right now, and episode 8 will be out soon.
On to YouTube questions, Kelp Bavzar asks when Andor will take place. Could we see the Ghost Crew in the series?
So at least season 1 has been said to take place 5 years before Rogue One. So I don't think we're going to see the Ghost Crew for a while if they show up. They don't join like the Rebel Alliance until their season 2, and then they don't join like the Yavin group until season 4. So I think we're a ways away from that.
I have said this before, but I think this is a good show for Hera to finally make her way into live action. If the timeline doesn't line up, then it doesn't line up. But we've seen them fudge the numbers a little bit.
For sure.
In the past, so it's definitely a possibility.
I think it's less likely they'll fudge things with Star Wars Rebels instead of like a book or a comic. Like, I'm fully expecting them to just retcon the Cassian and K2 comic, and I'm also okay with that, because I was like, eh. But for Hera, like, I think that just because we didn't see it in Rebels doesn't mean, Hera didn't do something before. I mean, I don't even really remember exactly when she and Kanan started hanging out. I think it was before Andor takes place, but, maybe they both did something with the Rebel Alliance at some point.
Maybe we get a time jump within that first season of Andor.
Maybe. I'd like to see it have multiple seasons and to just go through that journey. And then, yes, eventually we're on Yavin 4 again. And yeah, there's Hera. I would love that.
Yeah. Matthew Kelly wants to know what sequel trilogy character we would like to see appear in The Mandalorian.
I'll let you go first because I think I know who you're going to say, and I fully agree with you.
Who am I going to say?
Maz Kanata.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to think of someone else.
I know, we say Maz Kanata for everything, but she's a character that works, and we really want to see her be the pirate queen.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe like Allegiant General Pride.
That's who I was going to say. We just swapped. I was going to let you say Maz Kanata. I was going to say Pride. But yeah, I think Pride would be awesome.
Yeah. Just because he's been around for so long and he's been loyal to Palpatine for so long. And Richard E. Grant seemed to have a blast playing
What
him.
A joy of a man.
I think that would be a good one. But yes, I really hope we see Maz Kanata in something again because she was touted as the pirate queen and she's been around for 1,000 years or something like that. And so, yeah, plop her into basically any story. Martin Stallard asks, what would have happened to the Jedi Order if Mace Windu had killed Palpatine? Ooh.
So they talked about, their plan for removing Palpatine from power, and then the Jedi would have to take control of the Senate to ensure a peaceful change of power. I don't know. I don't think the Senate would be all down for that.
No, I don't think so either. I
don't know that they would buy the... No, he was a Sith Lord, we promise.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how their security camera system works exactly. Like, we saw Obi-Wan watching Anakin kill younglings, and like maybe they had a camera in the office.
He did see, like, Anakin be dubbed Vader.
So there's your proof.
There is some proof, but the Revenge of the Sith novelization shows that, like, Palpatine also had a way to kind of cut the video feed. So he uses their attack as proof that there was an assassination attempt. He doctors what happened, but they might not have had the full access to, like, the video files.
Force edit.
Right. They may have just... I wish I had that. They may have just had, like, audio files that honestly don't sound that great. Of Anakin saying, he's got to stand trial. He's too dangerous to be kept alive. And then what you just hear, like, well, now the Chancellor's dead. So, I don't know.
It would have been really awkward with the Jedi.
Like, awkward. Yeah, it just would have been awkward.
Trying to be like, so we killed Palpatine, but we promised it was for a good reason. We're just gonna, take over for a little bit. It's fine. No big deal. And, like, everybody else would be like, what?
I also don't think that the Jedi at the time probably would have handled that power well. I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's funny, I always remember a quote from... It's not a quote from Christopher Lee. He's quoting something else, but it's in the Lord of the Rings, like, making of documentary. And Christopher Lee is talking about the One Ring, and he's like, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I think any Jedi that took control of the galaxy might have been corrupted by that power. I don't think anything good happens when the Jedi take control.
And I think especially Mace Windu, with his history and his past, him killing Palpatine and then like having to live with that and being given power, you never know what may have happened to him.
I mean, it's this whole Jedi of this era kind of opinion that we know best. And like, at what point do they give up their power to another chancellor when they've been working with the Republic so closely for so long? And like, that's something I really like they're exploring in the High Republic, is that like, we are more separated. Like, we're affiliated with the Republic, but we don't take orders from them. And some of the Jedi are questioning, like, are we working too closely with the Republic now? I don't know.
I mean, I think in this scenario, Padme is still alive, and she may have been able to help with the, government side of things. But she's also about to have some babies, so...
That's true. I mean, that would have been a huge scandal. So, yeah, I agree with you. Like, Padme would have been a good person to help with that, but then they would have been like...
The Senate would have been like, wait, the Jedi are taking over and they knocked up Padme?
Right.
What?
Yeah. I think, that's part of Palpatine's kind of brilliant plan, is that the Jedi were just in a no-win scenario there.
Yep. Armin Garcia wants to know if the Jedi that survived Order 66 knew Palpatine was a Sith.
I think so. I meant to bring this up in the last question, but there's actually a couple of times where the regular people of the galaxy don't know who the Sith are even. Mm-hmm. Like, they run into Darth Maul and they're like, wow, you got a red lightsaber, that's interesting, are you a Jedi? And then Maul kills him. But so, like, if the Jedi were to say, yeah, he was a Sith Lord, they'd be like, what does that mean? But I think that the Jedi who survived probably knew enough, and probably knew that there was like some secret Sith Lord out there, and now they're like, oh, well, it's clearly that guy. Mm-hmm. I think they probably knew.
I think, yeah, I mean, unless they were just really young and inexperienced, I think that they could spend some time communing with the Force and figure out that there's been a giant shift of dark side energy, I guess, and be like, oh, okay, I can put this together.
It'll be interesting if we hopefully see a survivor in the Bad Batch and see what they know. But like Farron Barr, who was in the Darth Vader comics, he was a surviving Padawan. He seemed to know pretty much everything that was going down, including the fact that Vader was Anakin. So I think the Jedi probably were able to piece most of this stuff together.
Maybe we'll see in Kenobi, in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, he's just like telling everybody.
Yeah.
Just like, did you hear?
Posting anonymously on message boards.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.